Hi, so in this video we're going to talk about factorisation. This is the third video in the series, and if you have a look at mathswrap.co.uk, that will give you all of the videos together, or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you'll be kept notified whenever I post a new video. Now, in this particular video we're going to be looking at factorisation, which is specifically for students who are A or B grade GCSE, and it's looking at a quadratic equation which is of this sort of form. What it means is that we have an x squared term, so if we plotted that onto a graph, it would look something like either a U shape or an N shape. It's something like that. And what we need to do is to factorise this equation into two bracketed terms. If you have a look at the previous video, that will show you how to do that for a fairly straightforward equation. And in this video, however, I'm going to make it a little bit trickier. So I'm just going to copy from my notes here, and it's this equation, which is 2x squared, and that's minus 7x plus 6. Okay, couple of things. The first thing is you've got a 2 there, which is a little bit trickier to deal with, and also you've got a minus 7 here, which makes things just a little bit more complicated. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use what's called cross multiplication. It's a method that I've used a few times. It works very well for me. I am very aware there are other ways of doing this, but in this particular video I'm going to use this type of way of working things through. What the cross does is it just represents what's going on within the equation. Now, I'm very aware that I need to produce two bracketed terms. So the way a cross works is that this term here is here, this term is here. So if I draw it out just to the side here, this is going to be my first term, which will go in here. This is going to be my second term, which will go here. This will be my third, which is going to go there, and this will be my fourth, which is going to go there. Okay, so what I like about this particular method is it allows you to make mistakes. It allows you to trial and error in order to calculate or to work out the factorisation. Unfortunately, with factorisation, it sometimes is quite a bit of this particular style, is a little bit of trial and error. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at a first go at it to see whether we can create this factorisation. Okay, so here's my cross. I'm going to put it down here. Okay, now my 2x squared, well, the only way for me to create that term would be to multiply 2x and x. Because then if I multiply those two together, and bearing in mind they're going to go into this space and into this space, so 2x times x, that will give me 2x squared. And if I look at that positive 6, well, positive 6, the only way, well, there's a couple of ways I can create that, and I'm going to look at, say if I say 6 times 1. Okay, so if it's 6 times 1, I can still create 6, but what I do now is I look along these lines and I multiply them together. So I've got 2x times 1, which is 2x, and I've got 6 times x, which is 6x. Now the question I have is there any way that I can manipulate these two terms in order to produce negative 7x? Well, if I add them together, I'm going to get 8x. If I take them apart, I'm going to get 4x. I could get minus 4x. So really, looking at those two terms, there is nothing I can do to create minus 7x. So in other words, the two terms that go into here are definitely not going to be 6 and 1. So I have to think again. So I'm going to draw another cross. There it is. And I can't do anything about the first one, so I'm going to say 2x and x. Okay, so I'm going to look again at this positive 6. Well, 6 can be made up by 3 times 2. So I've tried 6 and 1, it's not really worked for me. And this time I'm going to try 3 and 2. Okay, well, again I'm going to multiply across, so 2 times 2x is 4x, and 3 times x is 3x. Okay, well that's looking a little bit more promising because 4x and 3x will allow me to make 7x. However, the difficulty I have is that I need to create minus 7x. Well, the only way I'm going to do that is to have minus 4x and minus 3x, because minus 4x and minus 3x will give me minus 7x. Okay, so that's going to work for me. So what I'm going to do now is put my minuses in place into the cross, and then I just simply write it out. So this first one here will be 2x, second one will be minus 3, next one will be x, and the last one would be minus 2. And that is the factorisation of this term. Okay, so I think it is quite an interesting way of doing things. I personally find it quite helpful because it allows me to show things. I suggest that when you're doing it, you just keep on putting the crosses in rather than just simply rubbing this out and trying it with something else and this sort of thing. You could do that if you wanted to, but it can get a little bit untidy. I think also when you've completed your factorisation, it's worthwhile then just expanding the brackets to make sure that you've got the terms correctly. So we'll just do that. So I've got 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times minus 2 is minus 4x. And then I have minus 3 times x is minus 3x. And minus 3 times minus 2, well, a minus times a minus is a positive, so 3 times 2 is positive 6. And if I just gather like terms and tidy that up a little bit, I've got, I'm running out of space here, but I've got 2x squared, minus 4x minus 3x is minus 7x, positive 6 is positive on its own. So actually, yes, 2x minus 3, all in brackets, multiplied by x minus 2, all in brackets, is the factorisation of this question here. This would be the kind of question that would be a grade A question. It does take a little bit of time. It's worth maybe 2 or 3 marks, but if you show the examiner how you've calculated it, and also if you check, it's always worthwhile to check, you should find you should be able to work these things through. If you go to mathswrap.co.uk, that will give you quite a lot more additional information. I hope that's been useful to you. I appreciate it's quite a complex subject, but if you stop the video and maybe go through point by point, you'll see hopefully how I've developed this whole factorisation question. I look forward to seeing you inside the next video. Please do leave a comment below, and I will endeavour to get back to you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.